Good morning and welcome to the Native News Today. Gerald Wofford with Jason Salzman. We thank you for joining us this morning on our 24th program, Jason.
Oh yeah, we're rocking and rolling, still going here, and man, it just seems like yesterday. We were doing number one, and kind of wide-eyed, deer in the headlights, guys up here in front of the camera. But everything's going great, and got plenty more stories coming up this week. Gerald, tell them about some of those.
Well, we met with the diabetes program at Cliff Wofford, Scott Robinson, Muskogee Creek Nation, and they're doing a lot of good things for the youth in the schools, activities program, as well as the elderly, and a lot of good things happening there.
Many things getting awareness out there, and Scott and Cliff were gracious to give some time to talk about those with us.
Also, down in Okemah recently, they had the Creek Cultural Festival. This was held last weekend. A lot of things happening out there. They had the Creek Cultural Princess Pageant, parade, even a Tough Man contest. So we had a lot of things happening out there in Okemah, so we'll show you some footage there.
Yeah, including the runner-up for the Tough Man contest here. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, maybe 1980s. Oh, no.
Hey, Gerald, we got a really a unique opportunity here this week. It's not every day we get a Heisman Trophy candidate on the Native News Today. Caught up with Sonny Sixkiller at the recent OU versus University of Washington game.
Sonny Sixkiller, that's right. And if you kids at home watching, you don't know who Sonny Sixkiller is, ask your mom or dad. 1971 Heisman candidate, led the nation in passing. Going to be meeting with him in just a little bit as well. Dr. Richard Grounds is busily working on preserving the Yuchi language, and we're going to touch bases with him and find out his efforts and what he's doing with that.
Yeah, Dr. Grounds really doing honorable work there, working with the Yuchi language, trying to keep it from dying off and preserving that facet of culture. So there's all that and plenty more coming up right here on Native News Today. We're going to take this quick break, and we're going to get into those great Native American stories right after this.
Today's world is far different than the one our ancestors knew. But though times have changed, we the Muskogee Creek people remain a strong people. Many of our traditions continue to thrive in today's modern world. For 1,000 years and more we have been here, and we will be here for 1,000 more. Times have changed, but so have we, and the Muskogee Creek people are a part of this time, this country, and this economy.
All right, welcome back to the program. You know, Gerald, a lot of our tribes in Oklahoma, the health systems within the tribes do so many great things to preserve the well-being of our citizens, and one of those is the Muskogee Creek Nation Diabetes Program. Do an excellent job, and specifically, we got to talk to Clifford Wofford and Scott Robinson of that program about the Nini Hagaji, which is Muskogee Trails, and what that is it's a new incentive-based walking program to promote diabetes prevention in the early stages in the communities. And what it is that those gentlemen are doing is they're providing a way for families and communities to get together and sort of, get started on living more healthy lifestyle, walking, so we can prevent diabetes, which has plagued a lot of the citizens. So we got to catch up with Scott and Cliff, and here's what they had to say. All right, we're here in Altmalky, Oklahoma with a couple of gentlemen representing the Muskogee Creek Nation Diabetes Prevention Program. And I want to welcome, first of all, Mr. Scott Robinson here and Mr. Clifford Wofford joining us today for Native News Today. Guys, thanks for being on the program.
Thanks for asking us to be here.
It's a pleasure. Now, first of all, I'll start with you, Scott. What we're here talking about first to get the ball rolling is Nini Hagachi, is the Muskogee Trails in Creek Nation language there for all of you out there that are still kind of gnashing your teeth on it. But Muskogee Trails, and what this is basically an incentive program to kind of get things going with diabetes prevention and things like that. Scott, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, this program is funded by our National Council, and they once again have shown that they are very concerned about the health of our tribal citizens, and they want to do something about it. They've given us this funding to create this walking program where people will get out and hopefully learn to walk through the seasons of the year, walk on a daily basis where it becomes a lifestyle. They'll receive a pedometer, and they'll be logging their steps, their time, their distance, and for up until June, it's a 9-month program, but 6 months where we want everybody participating, and they'll be earning prizes. They'll be hopefully becoming more healthy. And at the end of the program, there's a chance for different communities in each clinic area. One community, each clinic area will win a walking trail to be built in their community.
Definitely, that's wonderful. It's incentive based there, so kind of getting real proactive with them. And Cliff, you know, a lot of the programs by the Diabetes Prevention Program are that way too. And what it is really is just a push to get everyone proactive about this, because you got to realize that to get proactive is a way to eliminate this disease, maybe.
That's right, Jason. Prevention is the key, and it's a lot less expensive, as you know, to prevent it than later on in life and having to go to the doctor for surgeries, things like that. So prevention is a worthwhile cause, and it makes you feel better. You know, it just builds your self-esteem. You'll feel better later on. You'll be able to work harder. You know, things like that.
There's many programs such as this that go on within the Creek Nation all year round to get citizens aware that this is something that has plagued our people for quite some time, but it is something that we can get rid of. And I don't, you know, it doesn't matter which one of you talk about it, but there are a lot of programs like this one here.
Well, most of our focus to this point has been working with youth. We have a school program called the Move It program that we do in 8 schools this year. We were in 10 schools last year throughout Creek Nation. And over 1,200 kids we were working with last year. We have our youth prevention camps. We have our after-school jump rope programs. So most of our programs have been towards youth. Here in the last few months, we've started an elders prevention program. We're working with 5 elder nutrition programs, and to help prevent diabetes, and the ones who have diabetes, helping control their blood sugars. But also this program now that's starting, it's more targeting adults, although ages 12 all the way through 100 can participate. But it's mainly geared towards trying to get adults and families living a healthier life, making walking part of their lifestyle.
Focusing on at the prevention side of it, the thing is it very important that we do focus on the youth at an early age? Is that really when the target is to make sure that this isn't something that continues to affect not just our race but all people?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's we need to start there educating when they're young. That way, they'll when they grow into adulthood, they'll keep these same habits. They'll be able to lifelong activities. They'll take with them as adults, and then later on they'll be able to teach their own children the same activities. So some of the dates that we're talking about as far as signing up is we're looking at October 1st to December 31st, but we will be getting with the community centers, the Native American community centers, and deciding when we want to have one specific sign-up date. So that's coming about.
Guys, I know it just started here with October 1st, but has this been something that you've gotten some feedback from already that's been a positive thing?
Yeah, we've had a lot of people call in already. Cliff put it on the website, had this lady at the tribe to help him put it on there. It's been in the newspaper. And we've actually getting people calling in wanting information. Right now, all we're doing is taking names and addresses and going to be sending out information. We've set up dates at each community Indian community center to meet with them. Like I'm meeting with, I think it's Dustin this Monday night. Kim Little, our other exercise manager at Eufaula, met with Muskogee's Indian Community Center this last Monday night. And we're going to meet with each one and tell them about the program and find out where would be the best time and date to sign their community up. Because each community wants to try to get at least 20 people that will participate. We want more than that, but if they can get 20 people that are participating in the program, finish the program, meet the bottom level of achievement, then that makes them qualified to win the walking trail. Now, there are several communities that have 20 people. Then we'll have to average their people, the points for each community, and whichever one has the highest average points will win the walking trail. So it's real important, these communities, when we meet with them, they get together and try to get as many people together to participate. We're shooting for 100 people at each clinic community, so 500 altogether to participate. Any more information, come to your Indian Community Center during October. Go to the meeting so we can give you the information. Call the diabetes programs, ask for the exercise manager. We can give you information. Check the paper. We're trying to get out as much as we can so we can answer questions and get everybody started.
And just special thanks to the National Council for supporting us in this program. So
Couldn't do it without
Mado Council.
Yeah.
All right, you heard it there. Cliff Wofford, Scott Robinson from the Muskogee Creek Nation Diabetes Prevention Program.
All right, great story there by Jason, and a lot of good things happening there. Jason, we're going to kind of shift gears here real quick and talk about some stuff happening down in Okemah.
Yeah, it's the first annual Fall Festival there, in Okemah. It was basically, from what I've told from the coordinators of the event, it's just a way to kind of get all the Creek communities together. It's not so distant from one another. You know, we get so wrapped up in this being the Okemah Indian community or the Eufaula Indian community or whatever, and we almost forget that we're all Creek. So they wanted something like this to bring everybody together, and like you said, there's so much going on out there. They had a tough man contest, horseshoes, softball. There was a softki and a fry bread contest. Man, it was all going on. There was a princess pageant. I mean, if I sit here and try to name them all, I'm gonna forget something. I feel like I'm thanking people after winning an Oscar here.
Well, it was just a good classic festival, and as all Oklahoma towns are, a lot of history there. And Okemah is certainly one of those towns, has a lot of history there. Of course, the birthplace of Woody Guthrie, and they have a music festival as well, another part of the year, but now they've added this cultural festival, and as you see these photos and video and pictures going by, just so many things happening out there, just a celebration of Creek culture.
Yeah, and that's what it really was all about. You know, they wanted to get together and really not celebrate an event more or less, but celebrate a culture, celebrate a people that have been around for many, many years and will be here afterwards. You know, things like this let you know that, you know, we are still here. We are still a race of people, and we are thriving. And there's, you know, there's 62,000, you know, something creeks. So that's a big number there, and it's a big, strong voice. And as long as things like this are continued to evolve, then that's going to stay strong. It's going to make sure that the culture stays intact.
So we hope you've enjoyed the footage there and photos of the Creek Cultural Festival held down there in Okemah. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with some more stories on the Native News Today.
Have you been denied your Social Security disability claim? Owen Parvin and Associates can help you get what you rightly deserve. We're willing to go with you every step of the way and can take your claim through the system to get the results you need. And our help is at no risk to you. If your claim doesn't produce winning results, our services don't require compensation. Owen Parvin and Associates. We're willing to fight to make sure that your affairs are always handled fairly. Alright, welcome back to Native News Today, and this is probably one of the, I don't know, it's probably one of the most satisfying stories we've done to date. We got to catch up with Sonny Six Killer, a former quarterback at the University of Washington, under a long line of quarterbacks there. I talked about it from the open there. Marcus Tuiasosopo, Warren Moon, Sonny Six Killer, Rick Neuheisel played there too. And so there's a lot of great talent that's come out of that university, and Sonny was just another one of them. And he's an icon with University of Washington Husky fans.
Also a little bit of Hollywood experience as well.
Yeah,
played in the Longest Yard, the Burt Reynolds Classic, the original best one made of that.
But I bet if you put some truth serum in him, he would have rather been in Smokey and the Bandit.
Probably.
Just kidding.
Yeah, playing Jerry Reed on the truck. Huh?
No, but anytime you get to catch up with a legend, and I do mean that legend, it's a good day. And Gerald Wofford was able to corral, not like any of the defenders back in the day, but he was able to finally corral Sonny Six Killer for an interview at the University of Washington, University of Oklahoma football game.
All right, we have a very special guest today. We have Mr. Sonny Six Killer from the University of Washington. Mr. Six Killer, we appreciate your time this morning.
Hey, not a problem. It's good to be down here in Norman and somewhat close to the old birthplace down here, but it's wonderful. The people have been really nice, and I'm not sure what that means yet because we haven't played the game, but it's been a lot of fun so far.
Well, speaking of birthplaces, tell us a little bit about your history, where you're from, and everything, please.
Well, I was born in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, and grew up in Southern Oregon, Ashland, Oregon. Went out there when I was just about 2 years old, and then got recruited to the University of Washington and been in Seattle ever since as a permanent residency up there. So, played ball at UW and all that kind of stuff, and I had some success. And it's nice to be recognized as one of the few Native American quarterbacks ever to play. So I'm one of them.
Why did you choose the University of Washington?
Well, I was pretty small coming out of high school, and the Oregon schools thought I needed to go junior college or maybe see if I could grow a little bit. And the University of Washington coaches, I was recruited by a former All-American quarterback, Bob Surrett. He had faith in me and decided that he would offer me a full ride.
What year did you arrive on campus?
I was there from 69 to 73, played 70, 71, 72, and had a lot of fun doing it. It was a great time of my life.
When you talk about that time, University of Washington before your arrival was kind of down and then you kind of brought them up with the passing attack. What did that mean, that passing attack? I mean, just bringing that type of wide open West Coast offense to Washington.
It wasn't even West Coast. It was throw a ball downfield, and it wasn't any rinky-dinky stuff. And what happened was really, we were 1-9 my freshman year when freshmen couldn't play. And that spring, my freshman coaches, actually during my freshman ball, some of our freshman coaches convinced our head freshman coach to give me a chance and start throwing the ball and get away from the wishbone. And that's where it started. And I won the job outright in the spring, and that's when it just took off, and we decided to, I used to throw balls downfield, and we didn't care if they got picked off because my coach said, Sonny, don't worry about it. We don't punt that far. But in the city of Seattle, seriously, it was Boeing was down. We didn't have the Seahawks yet. It was, economically, it was going through a lot of problems and a lot of change nationally and all the problems going on with the war and all that kind of stuff. And we were a breath of fresh air in the Northwest in Seattle. We were entertaining. We ended up 6-4 from a 1-9 season, and so it meant a lot to the Northwest people and for our team.
In 1971, you become a Heisman candidate, and you make the front cover of Sports Illustrated. Mm-hmm. What was your first reaction when you saw that magazine cover?
Well, I have to tell you, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do the article. I thought it was distracting because I was more of a team player, and I thought it put too much emphasis on me. And so I said, no. And then one day after practice, our sports information director came over and said, hey, Sonny, I want you to meet somebody. And it was Roy Blunt Jr., who writes for SI. And I went, oh, man, I told you I didn't want to do this. And we did it. It ended up great. And I'm so thankful that they went ahead and did it. I'm one of only 2 players in University of Washington history to be on the cover in a feature article. I'm pretty proud of that.
Being a young kid at that time, did it really strike you that you were a Native American and you were quarterbacking a major college team?
Well, not really, because I didn't grow up around Cherokee Nation or Cherokee country or Native American country, to be honest with you. So, assimilated real quickly in that other world of not thinking you're any different than anybody else. And so my sophomore year, when all this stuff started happening, all of a sudden I'm starting getting calls, and the SI article, Boys Life, Street and Smiths, all those things started happening. It was like, wow, it's too much. And my sophomore year particularly, the SI department at the U had to cut everybody off because I was just getting hounded. And I couldn't go anywhere in the city. I mean, I couldn't go to Denny's and have breakfast without just being hounded. And dinner with my family and all that kind of stuff. So at the same time, it was kind of cool. But on the other hand, it was getting kind of old. But, it's all part of the game.
But all of a sudden, at that time, now you're on the national attention, the national scale with everyone. Now, did all of a sudden, did that Native identity come into play in the sense that people were, Sonny Six Killer, were they really kind of pushing that Native American side now that you were known?
Well, yeah, I mean, some of the local papers, really got into it a little bit too much and calling you the Cherokee Chucker and Ice Slay, the Stanford whatever, as all these kind of things. And so that was getting a little old that way.
How did you take that?
I'll be honest with you, team captains my sophomore year, as a team, we wrote a letter to the local papers and said, hey, that's enough. Knock it off. You don't need to keep doing that. He's one of our teammates. We're the Huskies. You don't need to single him out with those kind of, and we said derogatory kind of innuendo, and so it got a little better after that.
Now, after you leave Washington, and I know you did other things, of course you graduated and everything, but you also made a movie appearance in The Longest Yard. Now, I like that movie. That's a great movie. Tell us a little bit about doing that movie.
We're talking about The Longest Yard 1, not that one with that just came out, but the
classic with Burt Reynolds.
It's on the American Movie Classics channel, so it's a classic. But it was a lot of fun. Burt Reynolds actually came and visited me when I was at the UW, and that's how it all started for me to get involved. He came out to practice and met all my teammates and all that kind of stuff, and he kept track of our squad and kept track of how I was doing. And then when I got cut from the Rams in 1973, he called me and said, hey, you want to come down and be a part of this movie? And I didn't have anything going on, so I said, sure. And that's how it happened.
That was great. All right, we're visiting with Sonny Six Killer. Mr. Six Killer, we appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it, and thanks for being so hospitable down here. All right.
All right, wonderful job there by Gerald Wofford reporting that story out of Norman. Hey, we were also able to catch up with Dr. Richard Grounds. He is working very diligently to preserve the Yuchi language. Now, this is a language that's very complex. Not many people speak it, so it's tough to learn. But if you just keep practicing, he explains here, just like any other language, you get better and better at it. So Gerald Wofford was able to sit down with for a few minutes with Dr. Richard Grounds talking about the Yuchi language.
Well, Mr. Grounds, before we go into the Yuchi language, which is the subject we're going to really key on, let's give our viewers out there just a little history lesson, if we could, about the Yuchi tribe, their origin, and just a little history, please.
Well, just a couple of quick comments. The Yuchi people are the bearers of a unique language, which is a real clear indicator if people weren't clear enough that Yuchis historically were a distinct people, and really were probably in what long ago was called, from the U.S. perspective, at that time it was called the Southwest. From the point of view of Washington, the Southwest was Georgia, what became the states of Georgia and Alabama in that area. But many years ago, before the Europeans came, Yuchis were in that part of what became the United States, probably really prior to the Muskogean peoples coming in. Since that time, Yuchis have continued to maintain a separate language, have their own ceremonial traditions, and are still trying to keep the language going and trying to maintain their identity and keep the ceremonial grounds going and all of that.
Now, I mentioned that you are a preserver of the language, and that pretty much is self-describing, but tell me the efforts. What goes into doing what you're doing?
Well, I have to say that it's a real honor, a privilege to be able to work as we do now on a daily basis with elders in our community. These are the folk that are the very last of an ancient line that's gone on for thousands of years of people who are the first languages, the first speakers of their language. That is, now we can hopefully develop, so to speak, grow new speakers of the language, but it'll be a second language, or they'll be bilingual. It's not their very first language, their very first way of speaking and understanding the world. So it's a wonderful privilege to be able to work with these elders on a daily basis, try to learn from them, and also to work with youth and children in the community to pass the knowledge of the elders, both in terms of the language itself and all the richness that comes with that to younger people. So it's I can't think of a better position to be in. It's a real privilege.
Well, again, we really appreciate your time, and it's always a treat for our show here when we do get to interview someone that is fluent in one of the tribal languages. And we always ask them, and I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, I know, but if you could just give a greeting here to our audience, something in the Yuchi language, thank you, or anything that you'd just like to say real quick, please.
San like yasata, Yuchi aga wede ne e dabale, deep wede si e, na san le deep wede te. Ke indisha dotash aleni san like yasata kedate.
All right, let's take a break right now, but before we leave you, we want to give you a tribal calendar of events on the Native News today.
Here at the College of the Muskogee Nation, we pride ourselves on emphasizing Native culture, values, language, and self-determination while providing a positive learning environment for tribal and non-tribal students. We encourage our students to be lifelong learners and to strive for personal growth, professional advancement, and intellectual advancement. Muskogee Nation College. Academic achievement, Native values.
And welcome back to the Native News Today. Gerald Wofford with Jason Salzman. And Jason, again, we're wrapping up another program, but as always, we thank our faithful watchers for spending this time with us.
Oh, no doubt about it. We love the viewers out there, and I appreciate them so much watching us every Saturday. And if you can get a chance to check us out, we're at a great time slot, 11 a.m. So we're 30 minutes long. So this Saturday, right now, as I'm speaking, watch us, and then at 11:30, turn it on Fox Sports Net. You can catch the Sooners play Iowa State. Little shameless plug there, but I'm saying that to mention that, you know, right when we get done, you know, that's when your day starts. So we appreciate you for starting your day with us, and hope that continues, because we love bringing these great stories, and we love interacting with the people that are the reason for these great stories.
And on the verge of sounding like televangelists here, we just want to encourage.
Give all you can.
No, I wouldn't say that. But tell all your friends.
Yeah.
Tell all your friends
Tell
about
everybody.
the show.
Yeah, that's exactly
Not
right.
give us money, okay? Well, unless you want to. No, tell all your friends about the show.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing that we can count on to get viewership going up. You know, we got a lot of viewers, we know that, and we appreciate them out there. But the more and more out there that watch, hey, the better. And if you just get in your ear, hey, you know, you seen that? We even embrace that. You seen that Indian show? We like to be called that Indian show, because that's exactly what we are. And so, you know, hey, you seen that Indian show on Cox on 11 a.m. Every Saturday? You ought to check it out. It's pretty good. So, hey, every chance we get, you know, we want to be able to spread the word.
And because it is an Indian show, we know you got some good stories out there, and we know you grandparents, grandmas, aunts, uncles, you got those children, nephews, nieces, grandchildren that you want to brag about. They've been doing some good things, and you know what? They deserve the spotlight, and we'd like to share those stories right here on our TV show.
Exactly. And if you have any story ideas, or you know somebody out there that needs to be spotlighted on this show, you can get a hold of us, and we always give our number, and our telephone number is 918-732-7637. Or if you want to reach us by fax, you can do that as well at 918-758-0824. Or our email address, you can always send us an email, and we'll read that. It's jsalzman@muskogeenation-nsn.gov or gwofford@muskogeenation-nsn.gov. Keep sending those ideas in, and we'll keep reporting them to you every Saturday. Gerald?
For our producer, Josh Lane, Jason Salzman, I'm Gerald Wofford. Thank you so much. In the meantime, take care. God bless. We'll see you soon.